So guys, welcome back to the RC Ninja Studios. This video we're going to redo another previous video on LED lighting for RCs using very cheap and easy to obtain LED headlights. This current model, as you can see, has 7 LEDs, very useful when you need quite a bit of lighting on your RC. Basics of LEDs, you've got with all LEDs, all coloured LEDs, they run approximately 2 volts, not including white and blue LEDs, which actually run at 4 volts. So these, with these being white LEDs, these will be 4 volt. So if you're running front lights, front white lights, rear red lights, your resistance for the lights have to be slightly different, because obviously the rear ones will be running at 2 volts and the front ones be running at 4 volts. You can use little PP3 batteries, or is it PP9? I can never remember. The little square 9 volt batteries anyway. Again, very easy to obtain, as you know. We'll be adding battery clip. We'll be using the electronics out of this one because it's just easier. This one actually is a steady on first press of the button, a flash on the second press, and then third press will turn it off. At the end of the demo, I'm actually going to put up a bit of a picture for you to work out your voltage for your resistors and things like that. I could go into it and reel it off, but it sounds more complicated than it actually is. All you've got to do is work out for the resistor you need for your LEDs is your voltage supply, which will be 9 volts, minus your LEDs, which with these being white they'll be 4 volts, and then you divide that by the LED current, which is what it draws from the battery. It draws current from the battery. All this information is widely available online. You can get it for yourself, but like I said, I will be putting up a bit of a slide at the end, just so you've got it in one place. You've got the demo, you've got the soldering bits, and then you've also got the LED pinouts and LED voltages and resistances. And I'll put up some rough resistors for the LEDs that you're using. So if you're using the red, green, yellow ones, that'll be one resistor. If you're using the blue or the white ones, that'll be a slightly different resistor. The other thing to note with LEDs, they're not like filament bulbs. With filament bulbs you can wire them in parallel, so you just got a plus and minus and you're wiring the bulbs between the plus and minus. With LEDs you want them in series, so the positive of one LED goes to the negative of the next LED, and so on. If you have enough LEDs you can actually do away with a resistor, because obviously they add up in their own internal resistance, they'll add up. But like I said, there will be a slide at the end of it, so you don't have to worry, think, oh, I've got to rewind this and try and take it all in at once. There will be a slide at the end. So what we'll be doing with this model of light, obviously the lens cover comes off quite easily. Take the bezel off and we'll just get the screwdriver, remove the screws. It helps if we get it in shot, helps we can get on the screwdriver as well. Remove both screws, and there you can see just 2 wires to cut. Now what I suggest, if you get one like this where both the wires are actually the same colour, I don't know if you can actually see on the circuit board there. I think you can just about see it. If we do that, that's it. You can see a plus and minus on the circuit board itself, but the wires aren't colour coded. There's no markings on the wire. On this one they're both yellow. So what I suggest you do, because I've got to pass the wire out of the board, what I'm going to do with this, when I can find my clippers, I really should have paid more attention to where I put them. No, they've completely vanished. Anyway, what I shall do, I shall cut the positive one closer to the circuit board and the negative one further down. And all that does then, it gives you a reference to one's plus, one's negative. It just makes it slightly easier when you're wiring it up. So I shall take this apart and show you more of the circuit board on the next shot. As we can see, guys, I've ripped the guts out of this headlight. That part of the headlight we won't actually be using. Unlike the last video, we actually used the battery compartment out of that one. We won't be using it this time, so we'll remove that. Now with this head torch, you actually get quite a nice little battery holder that holds 3 AAA batteries. Got a couple of posts on the top there that you could quite easily solder to, or on removing that top cap you can actually solder direct to some slightly bigger tabs, so you're not melting through plastic. So you could use that, which on one of the shelves, which I will show you later on in the video, I actually used the battery holder and went direct from that using a separate switch. There we have the circuit board. Just one button on the back, which again, for mounting purposes, you couldn't ask for any better. You've got, on a circuit board, you can quite easily mount that. If you are using a PP3 battery, you could mount it to the battery. You could mount it to the bodywork, so it's just a simple press of a button on the bodywork and it's a nice stable button. Like I said, with the wires, made one slightly shorter than the other, so we know which is positive and which is negative. Right guys, we've got to a stage where we have an LED attached. I thought I'd just show you a little bit of soldering in case you haven't seen me previous soldering demonstration. We have 2 pads here, one's for negative, one's for positive. We're just going to add a bit of solder just so we're pre-soldering it before we put the battery connector on. Soldering iron on first, and introduce the solder to it. And as you can see, the solder will spread across the contact pad, giving it a nice bond there. You can just do this one. Solder iron on first, introduce the solder, keep feeding in your solder, and there you go, it spreads across the pad. So we'll put the battery clip on. It's a standard run of the mill battery clip. Just place it over the top, and it's as simple as that. Quick dab of the soldering iron and it's attached. Get the other one on. And quick dab of the soldering iron, not pour solder, and it's done. Hold it for a couple of seconds till it cools down, and then you have one battery clip attached. It's as simple as that. See if we can get it to focus in. You have one circuit board. We switch on. I've only attached a single LED to this one, single white one, just for demonstration purposes, but the principles are exactly the same whether you have one LED, 10 LEDs, 200 LEDs. As long as you've got your resistance worked out to your LEDs, you can use as many as you want, and really as many lights as you want. It depends how far you want to see, whether you want it for show or whether you're actually using your RCs at night, which I know a lot of people do, and you get some good effects when you're using scale trucks and you've got the LEDs in the right place and it's actually casting a proper scale light. And it's as basic as that. So I'll attach a battery. This one's actually quite flat, mainly just because it was the only one I had. So one push, we have a steady on, as you can see. Second push, we have a flash, and then third push of the button, it's off. And just give you a quick demonstration of what can be done. It is in the best TV show fashion. Here's one I prepared earlier. I know it's a bit big for the shell, but really just for demonstration. An old push spark light that we had lying around. It just happened to have a red part with two amber parts on. Switch fitted there. Battery pack zip tied to the back. Really basic stuff. And when it's on, all lights up. And then you'll probably notice just there is a little push button. And we have strobe lights effect, which was actually from another push bike light, which again you can get anywhere really, but it was just one of these little white lights. All we did, we take circuit board out, trim the circuit board down, connected it up to the power for the front LEDs, put the switch in top, and these have strobe effect, flashing effect, and steady on, all from just a push of a simple button on the top, which again for a scale truck will look pretty good, especially if you're running a trailer behind it. And plenty of light comes out of the LEDs. I'll not shine it too much into the lens. But that's the kind of thing that can be done, guys. And again, just a simple switch on back, turns everything off. There's no other LEDs in this truck yet. There is in my other truck. That's got LEDs up front, mainly because I eat too many things, so and it usually lands on its roof, so there's no point putting anything like that. But again, for scale trucks, absolutely perfect.